Hook. Imagine being the girl no one notices and the one who slips into classrooms, head down, backpack clutched like armor. Then picture her on the biggest night of the year, standing in the center of crowded gym, her secret humiliation exposed as cruel laughter echoes off the walls. Everyone expects her to crumble, to cry, to run away. But instead a broken bar, she lifts her chin, and when the first bully lunges forward, a sound slices through the gym like thunder, the crack of her roundhouse kick. This is not just a story about bullying. This is the story of how one quiet girl turned pain into power and left an entire school stunned. Elena never asked to be noticed. She was the type of girl who hid behind her dark hair, who wore oversized hoodies like shields, and whose notebooks were filled with sketches she never showed anyone. She wasn't the prettiest girl at school, at least not in the shallow ways people measured beauty, and she wasn't the loudest. She walked softly, spoke softly, and moved through high school like a shadow. But she noticed everything: the whispers in the hallway, the laughter that wasn't kind, the boys who shoved smaller kids into lockers while teachers pretended not to see. And she noticed one boy, Jason Hart, the football captain, the golden boy, the one everyone wanted as their prom date. For weeks, Elena had battled herself. She drew him in her sketchbook, imagined conversations, and then tore out the pages before anyone could see. But on a shaky Thursday afternoon, she decided to just on see if she would be brave. She'd ask him to prom. It happened at his locker. Her voice quivered as she spoke, her palms sweating. "Jason, would you a broken bar, would you go to prom with me?" At first, he just blinked. Then came the smirk. And then came the laughter, not just from him, but from his friends gathered around. "You prom with me?" Jason sneered, glancing back at his football buddies. "Sorry, I don't take shadows as dates." The words pierced Elena deeper than any knife. But worse than his rejection was what came next. One of the cheerleaders, Brianna, stepped forward, her perfectly manicured fingers tugging at Elena's sleeve. "Oh, poor quiet girl," she mocked. "Let's help her dress for the occasion." In one swift, cruel motion, Brianna grabbed the edge of Elena's shirt and yanked the fabric tore with a sound so loud it silenced the hallway for a moment. The laughter that followed was deafening. Elena stood frozen, clutching what was left of her shirt, humiliation burning her skin. Cameras came out, phones lit up. She could feel herself shrinking, wanting the ground to swallow her whole. But in a broken bar something shifted. She saw her reflection in the shiny locker, tear-streaked, small, broken, and for the first time, she thought, number. Not anymore. That night, Elena didn't cry herself to sleep. Instead, she walked into a small martial arts studio tucked between a laundromat and a bookstore. She remembered passing it countless times but never daring to step inside. Now, she did. And when the instructor asked why she wanted to join, Elena answered simply, "Because I don't ever want to feel powerless again." Prom night arrived like a storm Elena hadn't been sure she could face. For weeks, she had trained. Every kick bruised her legs, every punch blistered her knuckles, but every drop of sweat sharpened her spirit. Her instructor didn't just teach her moves, he taught her control. Power wasn't about rage. It was about knowing you could fight, but choosing when. So when Elena walked into the gym that night, head high and dressed simple but radiant, whispers followed her. Some mocked, some stared. Jason smirked when he saw her. "Didn't get the memo, Shadow? This is prom, not pity night." Elena ignored him. She tried to blend in, but fate had other plans. Near the dance floor, Brianna cornered her again, flanked by her friends. "Oh look," Brianna sneered. The quiet girl thought she belonged. And before anyone could stop her, Brianna shoved Elena hard. The crowd gasped. Music stuttered. Phones pointed. The bullies circled, smelling blood. "Come on, quiet girl," Jason taunted. "Show us those tears again." But instead of tears, Elena smiled. A small, steady smile that unsettled them. When Brianna lunged to shove her again, Elena sidestepped it, and with one swift, fluid motion, her leg whipped around in a perfect roundhouse kick. Crack! Brianna stumbled back, stunned, her perfect hair now in disarray. The gym went dead silent. Jason's grin vanished. Elena's voice cut through the silence. "Steady, strong, you don't get to break me anymore." Jason moved as if to grab her, But something in her eyes stopped him cold. Power radiated from her, and not the kind that came from fists, but the kind that came from finally knowing her worth. And then, something miraculous happened. The crowd that once laughed began to cheer, not because of the fight, but because of the courage. Kids who had been invisible, kids who had been shoved aside, kids who had felt powerless, all saw themselves in Elena. By the end of the night, Elena wasn't the shadow anymore. She was the fire that lit the gym. Ending message. The video would close with Elena standing tall under the lights, no longer afraid, no longer silent. Because sometimes, the quietest people carry the loudest strength. And sometimes a broken bar, one roundhouse kick is all it takes to remind the world that you can't break someone who has already learned how to rise.